Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible.
Welcome to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. Hello, everybody. How's it going today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I hope you've been having a wonderful week. Feeling good and positive and working towards your goals this week. I have so many projects on the go right now, which is super exciting for me. I love having fun projects on the go, especially a lot of them, which it's a little bit overwhelming, but it's also super exciting because I know that I'm achieving all of these things that I, was once just written on a piece of paper, and now I'm actually putting those things into action and committing to these projects, and I'm super excited to fulfill those commitments and, see the outcome of it and get to check that off my goal list and just feel accomplished. I feel like that's what commitment really, really does. It helps you feel accomplished. So with all that being said, today's episode is about commitment. There is so much to commitment. I feel like commitment is actually one of the top fears in a lot of people, just terrified to be fully committed to something. With that being said, it's not just relationships or friendships or family things. Like, commitment comes in all forms. We have to commit to projects, like I was just saying. We have to commit to pretty much every single thing that we do. And I think the most common fear of commitment is like the commitment in a relationship, or like a long-term commitment, maybe a job, like a contract or something like that. But think about it. Pretty much every single thing that we do involves some type of commitment. And if it doesn't involve a commitment, then usually it doesn't always come with the best outcome. I find that when we can fully commit to something, we can fully commit to a project, or a situation, or a person, or a contract, or a job, or your fitness goals, anything like that. When we can finally fully commit to something, there are no excuses. There are only actions being taken, and you will only accept results. No excuses is good enough for you. So commitment is super important in so many aspects of our lives. So today I'm going to be talking a lot about commitment, why it is so important, why you might be afraid of commitment, and how to overcome your fear of commitment. Like I said, it is definitely a very, very common fear in a lot of people because commitment is scary. That means you have to hold yourself accountable, or somebody else is holding you accountable, or, you really have to make a decision and you have to follow through with it. And a lot of people who are indecisive have a really hard time with commitment because, what if I change my mind and this and that, and it's just terrifying sometimes. One thing that I have found that I can never fully commit to is getting a tattoo. That is something that is a very long-term commitment. I know you can do tattoo removal, but that is just not ideal, especially if it's a big tattoo. Like, tattoo removal, first of all, it's painful. It's more expensive than the tattoo itself. Doesn't always look the best. That's just not an outcome. So for me, I love the look of tattoos. I think they look stunning on so many people. I think you can really, really, I think tattoo is such a wonderful art, but there is nothing that I have thought of so far in my life that I want to fully commit to putting on my body forever. And it blows my mind when I see people with tattoos sometimes, because I'm like, wow, how did you decide on something that you have to look at every single day in the mirror and commit to? You can never run away from it. Like, that to me is so terrifying. For a lot of people, commitment can be scary because you're just not sure if you're ready for a commitment. I think this falls in the lines of relationships mostly, but when you're not ready for commitment, then things can kind of turn really bad really quickly, in relationships, in friendships, even with our jobs and things like that. If we are not fully ready to commit to something, it's really important that we are able to recognize that and take a step back so that we aren't, throwing ourselves into something or putting ourselves in a situation that we can't follow up with. Have you ever met somebody, I'm sure you have, but do you have a person in your life that just never commits to anything? Or you just know that they're like that friend that you cannot really count on because you know that they just can't fully commit? It's like you made plans for Friday night, but like it's Friday at 3 p.m. In the afternoon, and you're like, okay, are they gonna come? Are they gonna commit to it? Like, you're just not sure. And doesn't it drive you nuts? I hate, when people can't commit to something. When they say that they're going to be there, they need to be there. And I would never want to be that person that can't commit. I'm sure I have been that person. Well, I definitely have been that person, and it definitely happens to all of us. But commitment is such a important quality. Being able to commit to something and being strong enough to hold your own, to follow your word, follow your actions, and fully commit to something takes a lot of strength, can take a lot of patience, mental strength, physical strength, all of that, because commitment's scary. No matter what kind of aspect of life we're talking about, having to commit to something is terrifying, because we are humans. We're always changing. Our mind is always changing. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, everything is always changing consistently. So it's really, really important to pay attention to what you commit to and what you don't commit to. Are you that friend that flakes out all the time and says you're going to be somewhere but doesn't actually fully commit to being there? Does that bother you? I bet you it bothers your friends if you are, right? And maybe it doesn't happen all the time. Maybe you're really working on commitment. That is something I'm working on, is to make sure that I am sticking to my word, that I will follow up with everything. I do have, I think this, it's my sense of pride, my ego inside, that if I say something out loud, like I'm going to do this project, and I say it out loud in front of many people, I have to do that. It's gonna happen. It will happen. I said it out loud, and I will hold myself accountable to that. I will commit to it if it usually comes out of my mouth. And that's just one rule that I have with myself, because it's my ego, it's my pride that doesn't want to let me fail from something that I said out loud, especially to other people, because those people are holding me accountable, and then that makes me hold myself accountable, and I don't want to let myself down or let anyone else down. I also don't want to be that person that is all talk and no action, right? We've all met those people that are all talk, but they don't actually take action on the things that they talk about. And it drives me insane. And it drives me insane to be that person sometimes. So I totally get it. So commitment is definitely a long-term thing to really get your hands on and to really understand, I think. We have to fully commit to ourselves. We have to fully commit to a situation, to another person, to a job, to maybe a place that you're renting, a home to live in. Commitment is scary no matter what, because you can't just get up and leave. If you bought a house in this town, well, then you are committed to that house, unless you got to go put up for sale and go through the whole process if that's really what you want. But when you purchase a house, or you start renting an apartment and you sign a contract, you are committed. Or when you get into a relationship, you are committed to that person. And relationship's a hard one, because it's really easy to break commitment in a relationship more than if you just bought a house, because a house, you have to go through the whole process, where losing that commitment with somebody else can be as quick as a 2-second thing, right? So commitment's a really difficult thing, I think, and in all aspects of our life, but it's super, super important, because if we don't commit, we're not going to be achieving our goals. If you can't fully commit to your goals, you're never going to actually get to the end of them. You're never really going to feel fulfilled too when you get to them. Commitment means it leads to success, and success is something that I think we all strive for, especially when we are setting up our goals. We're trying to think of, what we want out of a life, what's our next step in life, and we have to commit to our goals, and then we have to commit to all of the small stepping stones that get us to that goal, and we got to commit the entire way. Commitment's not just a one-way streak or a half kind of thing you can do. Like, you have to fully commit to the things that you want out of life if you want results and you want success and you want everything that you're asking for. So commitment is so important, and today's episode is really all going to be talking about why it's so important, how we can really be sure that we are focused on commitment, how we can commit to our goals, how we can commit to other people, to other aspects of our lives, as well. Like, I'm going to go through some common pitfalls of commitment, some common things that people struggle with, and I'm going to hopefully teach you some tips and tricks of how to overcome your fear of commitment in all aspects of your life. So with all of that being said, it is time for a little bit of a break. But when we get back, don't be afraid. I am going to be talking about the scary word, commitment. We're going to be really diving in deep to what exactly commitment is, why you need to be focused on being committed to your goals and being committed to aspects of your life. How is that going to push you forward to your successes so you can achieve all those things that you want? And we're going to talk about overcoming your fears, because commitment is a crucial aspect of life. We have to commit. So we have to get over that fear, and I'm going to help you do that today, I hope. So stay tuned. I will be right back with so much information to share with you. Don't go anywhere. It has felt like I've been sleeping on a bed of clouds ever since I received my mattress topper from Linens and Hutch. So Linens and Hutch is a family-owned company. They specialize in everything for your bed. And one of the things I got was the overfilled plushed mattress topper. Now, this mattress topper is made out of double-brushed microfiber, so it's super soft to the touch. It's also wrinkle-resistant, and it's generously filled with micro plush down alternative fiber filling. So what I really love about it is that it's so soft, it's so comfortable, but I also feel supported when I sleep, because I love to feel supported that I'm not gonna hurt my neck or sleep the wrong way, and this does exactly that for me. So since you are a GSMC Life and Happiness listener, you need to head on over to linensandhutch.com/life, enter in the promo code GSMC Life, and you will be receiving 70% off site-wide plus free shipping. Don't want to miss this deal.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness podcast. Today we're talking all about commitment. And what I want you to do right now is I want you to think of at least one major accomplishment in your life that has really made you proud of yourself, okay? So take a moment and think of, one of your major accomplishments. Now, I want you to think of the initial commitment you made when you got started, okay? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed were you? Were you very committed, or were you just kind of desiring it? Desire and commitment are two very, very different things. So there is such a vast difference between the two, and when you simply desire something, you do it only when circumstances permit. But when you're committed, there is no excuses, there is only results, okay? So a commitment is a binding pledge that obligates you to assume a position or to carry out a course of action. That's by definition. So making a commitment to what you do, whether that's in your personal life, in a professional life, is one of the most fundamental principles of success. commitments are serious, okay? Commitments are very serious, and breaking a commitment can make you feel very, very low on yourself, which can lead you down a terrible rabbit hole. So commitments are very powerful because they influence how we think, they influence how we sound, how we act, how we talk, everything, right? So unlike a like half-hearted hope or a I'm going to give it my best shot kind of thing, making a commitment means that you will try very hard. You will look for solutions when you're faced with the obstacles. You're not going to consider quitting as an option. It's completely ruled out, and you will not look back when you are fully committed to something. So a meaningful commitment really gives you this kind of script for how to handle things when times are tough. And, everyone feels like quitting at one time or another. It's inevitable. Everyone does. And it's unfortunate that most people quit when they feel like quitting, which is why, a lot of people don't succeed at the things that they want, because they quit when times get tough, when they don't know their next step, when they don't know the solution, they don't know what to do. So commitment is so important to lead you to your successes. And, especially if you are an entrepreneur in your career or something like that, it is super, super important to be committed to that, to your entrepreneurship, to making sure that you are working towards those goals and you're getting everything done that you absolutely need to. So one of the most, I think, distinguishing characteristics of success is the perseverance of commitment. I think that plays such a crucial role in so many successful people that we all look up to. The people that we're like, wow, how did they do that? How did you achieve all those goals? And it's through commitment. It's through fully understanding that I need to be fully committed to this situation so that I can achieve this goal. So whether it's a relationship or it's a marriage, it's a job, it's a career venture, your fitness, your health, maybe it's a personal development or improvement goal. No matter what you are working towards, no matter what aspect of life you are talking about, the temptation to give up will arise at one point. It is inevitable. We are humans, and it comes up. So the key here, I think, is to really anticipate that arrival of, the temptation. Anticipate that. Understand that will happen for you in whatever you are going after right now. So you have to make yourself a promise that the feeling of wanting to quit will not overpower your commitment. So I really, really love this has helped me recently. I learned this, I would say probably 6 months ago. I've really been practicing this. Even more than that, probably over 6 months now. I've really practiced this in my life, and it's made a huge difference for my commitments. And that is just making promises to myself. Now, think of it this way. I make a promise to my friends. Okay, yeah, I'll be there on Friday night at 7:00. I promise I'll be there. And when I say that, I'm going to go because I don't like letting down my friends. I don't want to be that friend that cancels, that flakes, that says you're going to be there and you're not, which sometimes it happens. Sometimes things come up, but when I say, okay, I promise I'm going to do something, you betcha I'm going to do it. And so why should that be any different when you make a promise to yourself? So if you promise that you are going to commit to something to yourself, don't let yourself down. Don't break that promise. Don't you hate it when someone breaks a promise with you? What if someone was like, yeah, I promise I'm going to take you to that new restaurant next weekend, and they never took you to the new restaurant? You're going to feel pretty disappointed. And you're also going to feel like you can't trust them to keep their word and to hold on to their commitments. So hold on to a promise. I think promises are really important. Pinky swear yourself. I'm one of those silly people that, if I pinky swear on something, that's it. That's happening. And I've used this in my past relationships. I'm like, I promise, I pinky swear. And if I'm pinky swearing, it's such a silly thing. But in my head, it means, yeah, you betcha I'm doing it 110%. So get something silly like that in your head, whether it's a pinky swear or a handshake. I promise I'm going to do something. Hold yourself accountable to those things, because nobody likes a quitter. Nobody wants somebody who is flaky, who says one thing and does the next. Be committed to your friends, to your family, to your work, to yourself. Make those promises to yourself. So when I started to look at so many aspects of my life by saying, okay, I'm going to promise myself that I get this amount of work done today. I promise myself that I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. I promise myself that I'm going to meal prep and eat healthy this week. That is a promise that I made, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, because I got to trust myself too. It's so important to trust yourself, and you don't want to break promises. You're not going to trust a friend that breaks your promise, right? So really, you got to hold on to that. So being committed requires that you're ready to really tread on this long path to success, and you're ready to let go of temptation. You don't want to take the easy route. You're ready to let go of all that or a shortcut. And taking this long path to success, involves a lot of hard work. And you must remember that the harder that you work, the more benefits that are going to come out of it. So you got to keep in mind that with passion and commitment and hard work, any goal that you want can be achieved. It's so possible. Everything's possible. And you just need to remember that success is the reward of a concerted effort. So really hold on to your commitment. And I think one of the most important virtues that is associated so closely with commitment is determination. And commitment and determination really lead to success. And you need to have determination to commit to reach your goals. I think it all goes hand in hand. So when you make a commitment, you have pledged to achieve a certain outcome or a result. So there's no setbacks along the way. You just have to move forward and get it done. You have to be determined to be committed. And with determination, you can overcome any setbacks, okay? You can counter any roadblocks. You can defeat any obstacles that life has thrown in your path towards your success, and you can stay committed. So once you have overcome a first setback or a mistake, because those will happen, those initial roadblocks, you will feel very, determined. I think I know that I do. I feel determined to keep moving forward, to overcome that hurdle. Hey, look, I did the first one. I can overcome the next obstacle as well. And then you start to develop the confidence in it. And you start to view those further obstacles as a challenge that you must overcome to continue your path towards accomplishing even bigger goals sooner, right? So, without all three components of commitment, there is no commitment, I believe. So I'm going to be talking about the next three components of commitment. And, there is good intention or there's good action, but neither, really constitute a commitment or qualify anyone as a committed person. So I believe that there are three components of commitment that really make up exactly what commitment is to all of us. So with that being said, it's time for a little bit of a break. But when we get back, I'm going to share with you the three components of commitment, and then we are going to jump in to a little bit more about how to overcome your fear of commitment, because the commitment transforms your vision of success. And I want all of you to be successful and to live your life to the happiest and the fullest. And to do that, you need to be committed. And commitment stands first on your list for values, when it comes to going for your goals, going after those things. So being committed requires that you are fully engaged in your endeavor, in that goal. And it's so, so important. So we need to make sure that if you are afraid of commitment, that you are able to overcome that. Okay, so it is time for a break, like I said, but when we get back, I'm going to give you the three components. I'm going to jump in how to overcome your fear, because I know you want to overcome that fear. I know you want to be committed to your goals, and you want to achieve all the things that you set yourself out for. So I'm going to help you do that by overcoming this fear. So lots more information to come for you very soon. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast. Okay, we are in the last stretch of today's episode. If for some reason you're tuning in only now, we're talking all about commitment, why it is so important for your life, why you need to be committed in all aspects of your life to achieve your goals and find your successes. So today, commitment, we need to overcome our fears of commitment in general. I feel like it is such a common fear in so many people. So before I jump in to the tips of overcoming your fears of commitment, I want to give you the 3 components of commitment. So the 3 components of commitment, and without these 3 components, I believe, it's just a desire, okay? So, but with these 3 components, then that means you are making a commitment. So a public statement of intention, so speaking or writing to other people, right? Specifically what you are signed up for and fully intend to do in this action. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is explicitly indicating a specific time and date to begin taking this intended action, and also a specific time and date to complete the intended actions. And then periodically communicate progress. And then if necessary, shift those times and dates given logistics and, other varieties, of course, right? But you got to make sure that you are setting a specific time, so when you will start this commitment and when you will finish the commitment. It's okay if it changes a little bit, if it is, logistical, it is, because life happens, I get it, but you do need to have a start and end date in your head to make it a commitment. So that's component number 2. And number 3 is do the intended. Signed up for your actions as you promised and complete them, okay? So those are the 3 components of a commitment. Say it out loud. Tell somebody about it, basically. Do it in writing. Say it verbally to somebody so that you can hold yourself accountable and they can hold you accountable. The next one is to make sure that you have a specific time and date, and for starting and ending, and then do it. Follow the action. Do what you intended. Now, without these 3 components, I believe what you are going for is just a desire. It's just a want. It's not a full commitment. Okay, now, with all that being said, commitment is scary, and it's so common to be scared of, maybe you're scared of being tied down in a relationship. Maybe you're afraid of being stuck in a contract job that you don't like. Maybe you're scared of moving to a new town and being committed to stay there. Maybe you're scared of buying a house, the commitment of that, or the commitment to your fitness goals, that you have to eat healthy and throw away those pies, things like that. Commitment is scary in so many aspects. So the first tip I want to have for you is discovering your root of your fear. Why are you afraid of commitment in this aspect of your life? And I think there's so many reasons that can be behind a person's fear of commitment. This could stem from a very young age, okay? Maybe you grew up in a more of a broken home. You're scared of getting your heart broken. You're scared of things just not going your way. Maybe you have a really bad track record with your jobs and you're scared that you're not going to like it or that things aren't going to go well. Maybe you're scared of just moving to a new town because, you're so comfortable with where you are now. Commitment is scary for so many different reasons. You really have to dive in deep and you have to figure out why you are scared of it, okay? Self-reflection is going to be huge when it comes to figuring out why you are afraid of commitment, really digging down deep. I was like, write down the thing that you're scared to commit to, whether that's a person, a job, any aspect, a goal, a fitness goal, whatever it is, write it down, write everything that scares you about it, okay? Write the things that have gone wrong in the past, really reflect on why this is scaring you to do it now. How is it making you feel? Self-reflection, so you need to make yourself see that even when you commit to something, it doesn't mean that you're not free anymore. You will have lots of freedom during your commitment, okay? So really dig down deep and figure out the root of your problem. My next one is just making room in your life for commitment. Sometimes we have to cut back on things. We have to cut back on other projects or our other downtime, or maybe some activities that we enjoy doing to make room to fully commit to something. I think this can really help us overcome our fear of commitment because we have more time to focus on it. Okay. Maybe it's a long commitment and you want to kind of slowly start to integrate it into your life because you are afraid of it. Well, start clearing your schedule, start making room in your life for this commitment, okay? If we're all busy, and it's important to remember that, commitment takes time, no matter what aspect of life we're talking about. So, committing to another person may seem like you are just too busy for. Committing to a new house or a new job, you're too busy, you got too much going on, but that's not true. You can make room in your life for this commitment if you really, really want it. If it's not just a desire and you're determined to be committed, you will do it. You will make room for it, okay? So people grow, according to the size of bowl that you put in front of you. I know that's kind of a weird saying, but I've heard this before, and you got to be able to make sure that you can grow, expand, past your comfort zones and continue to grow and fully commit to those things. Don't rely on others to make you feel good about your commitments or anything else. If you're afraid of committing to somebody, you really might want to think about the fact about that you might be relying too heavily on what they think of you. I don't think anyone should really fully commit to a relationship unless you can fully love yourself first. We shouldn't look for that validation or love in someone else. That's just a bonus. That just brings joy into our life. But we have to be committed to loving ourselves first before we commit to loving somebody else or finding that love in someone else for they can love us. So find that freedom in it as well. If you're scared of commitment of something, it's probably because you're scared that you're going to have to sacrifice a lot in your life, and you might have to sacrifice some things, but there's also wonderful things that come with commitment, and you have to be able to find the freedom in those commitments. Okay. Find freedom in love, find freedom in this new city, in this new job, in this new house. Find your types of freedom that you want to hold on to and hold on to those. Make room for your freedom in your commitments as well. If you need to prolong it a little bit further because you need some more freedom in other aspects, do that. You still want to be able to feel free even though you are fully committed to something, okay? My next one is just, look, if you are afraid of a relationship kind of commitment, make sure that you are looking for someone who values or who shares your same values. This makes things a lot less scary. If you have and then if it's not in a relationship, you're not talking about committed in a relationship, talk to a friend that can relate, that shares those values, that maybe went through the same job process or maybe moved to a brand new city all by themselves. Find somebody that you can relate to, that you can talk to about it. It's never good to hold anything inside. So make sure that you find someone or some type of outlet that you can talk to about your fear of commitment and how you can commit to this aspect of your life. Surround yourself with those people as well that are in, healthy situations that commit to their lives, in different ways. It's just like surrounding yourself with the right type of people that are going to motivate you. Surround yourself with people that are motivated and determined and committed, because you will be motivated, determined, and committed if you do so. So definitely surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that can hold on to their commitments. Make sure you're always considering all the benefits. Write down a pros list. I'm sure there's a cons list too, but write a pros list. And I feel like you'll be really surprised of how many pros there are versus cons when you think about this commitment. Think about the end of it, how you're going to feel at the end. Think of all the benefits throughout the journey of your commitment. There's so much that goes in with it. So just make sure that you are paying attention to all those benefits as well. Don't let your fears only focus on some of the things that you might have to sacrifice. Make sure you're able to focus on all of the benefits, because I promise being committed to something will bring you so many benefits in your life. So my last tip for you for overcoming your fear of commitment is just making sure that you just face your fears, that you commit. Start small if you have to. Commit to something small and work your way up. okay? Be patient with yourself, but there's no better way than to get over a fear than to face it, than to do it. And like I said before, you will find that confidence once you kind of complete that first hurdle, you go through that first obstacle, and that confidence will drive that determination, drive that motivation to drive your commitment, which will all lead you to success, and you will be achieving your goals, okay? All right, so that is all I have for you today. Thank you for listening to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. I had so much fun today talking about commitment with you. I hope this was beneficial. I hope there's some things that you can pull from today's episode and implement them into your life so that you can be a more committed person. So thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I got new episodes out every single Monday and Thursday. As well, head over to those social media pages. I update those regularly. Hit the like button, hit the follow button, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review. It means the world to me, and I absolutely love reading them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay happy, stay positive, and stay determined to your commitments. Thank you so much. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find the show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast.